Okay, hello everybody. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I transformed this table from an old, outdated, water damaged table to this fun, new, modern, more modern look, rustic, all that. So let's get
it. So this is this tabletop I'm getting ready to work on. This is the bottom, obviously. This is the top, and it has like water damage on it, and it's this is veneer, and I can't find a spot right now. Where is it at? Like, it's the veneer is raised up. So like I don't know what I'm gonna do if I keep it like this. I don't know what to do to fix it. So what I'm thinking I might try to do here is I'm gonna take all these screws out of these little holes right here, all these places, and then I'm gonna flip that like hardware compartment over, and I'm gonna put it on the other side, hopefully, and then I'm gonna use this side as the new tabletop because it looks like it's in great condition. Now I know it's obviously gonna have screw holes in it, but that's much easier to fix than veneer water damage that's raised up. So I could putty those holes in, no problem, sand them over, and then like restain this top, or I guess it'll be restain this bottom. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try that. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna go through and take all these screws out right now.
So in case you guessed it, that did not work. I ended up putting all those screws back in and putting this back on here. But the main reason that it didn't work out was because of the glue. There was glue holding this piece to this piece, and along with screws. And the glue, when I pulled this bottom piece off, just ripped the whole, it was ripping all the bottom. So it was gonna be very hard to repair, and it was gonna be worse than the top. So all I did on this top to make it look better and be better, just in general, was I just sanded it. So it still has, and I'll show you the pictures, it still has like little water damage spots. But I feel, and the person that wants to buy this from me probably will be the type that likes a rustic look and they don't mind imperfections. So I'm just, rolling with it. And then my only other idea was to take like new boards and lay them across this and just make it look like an old barnwood look, But that was going to be pricey, and I was trying to do this as cheap as possible and with what I already had on hand. Like, for example, what I'm going to show you here next is the painting. I already had all these colors on hand, and I'm just trying to use up the paint that I have on hand because, like I said, I just didn't want to buy anything for this. I got this table and chair set from a lady off Facebook Marketplace, and it was $25 for the whole entire set. And it was just sitting in an old barn, and it just was getting damaged because it kept getting water on it or whatever, So, I feel like I saved it, from it was going to be either left in that garage to rot, or it was going to be thrown out into a landfill. So this way, it's not perfect, but it's definitely going to be better, and it's going to be put to use, and it's going to be great. So yeah, and then this part here, I'm not explaining what I'm doing because you guys have to watch this part. It's just, I can't explain this because I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, honestly. That color, the white that I was using, was actually the Boss color that Dixie Belle has. That's like it's basically a primer, and I was using that because it's the only white I had on hand. So I was just using it, and then I was using a gray. I believe, I don't even remember now. I have to look. It was Gravel Road. It had to be Gravel Road because that's the only gray I have right now. And then here in a second, you'll see I take some stain. It's the color Tobacco Road, and I start dry brushing that in the mix of all of this. And like I said, you just have to keep mixing this, and you just have to keep going. You have to trust the process. You can see there I sprayed it. Sometimes this looks kind of streaky, but like you just have to keep working at it, trust the process. I don't know what else to say about it. I look really goofy sometimes over there doing this because I like get into a squat stance and I get real serious, so ignore me being a weirdo. But yeah, you just have to watch it. Oh, and the only other thing I can say here that might be helpful is I use a chip brush right there, and then I also use my Dixie Belle brush. It's called a mini angle or angle mini. I'm not exactly sure the exact name, but it's an angled one, and it's a very smooth brush, so it's very good for like blending. So part of this process you have to blend, and part of it you have to use a chip brush to make that kind of streaky look, but that looks nice. I don't know what to call that. Anyway, so yeah, 2 paintbrushes really get the look here. And then also another thing I would like to say is that you definitely have to keep your paintbrush straight, which is something I still need to work on, just pulling it straight across the table. It's very hard. I don't know why, because I feel like I'm going straight when I'm doing this, but I guess once I watch these videos back, I'm like, dang, I'm really not even going straight at all. So yeah, the biggest thing to make this look nice is keeping it straight, for sure. And another thing is, I would say, like, you could try to work in sections, but then it's still really hard to do that because you want it to all blend in like a uniform look. So you really can't even work in sections very well because, yeah, it just has to all be one uniform look. Okay, and then moving on to the bottom. So I used this color. I will have to screenshot this and put the name of it on here for you guys. It was just something I had on hand, like I said. So I did like 2 or 3 coats on the bottom of with this. Okay, and for the bottom, I attempted to show you guys what I was doing down here, but I did not video this whole process because I didn't even know what I was doing. At one point, I was like, I don't like this. Then I was like, I'm going to paint it solid color. Then I was like, I'm going to distress it, and I couldn't make up my mind. But like I show you some of the process. So I used some brown wax, and I just streaked it on there real crazy. And then I also took a paint scraper tool there, like you can see it. And I scraped the edges, kind of scraped it up, got it real rough looking. And you guys will see that here at the end, how that ends up looking. But like I said, it was hard process to a video. So then just moving on to the chairs for a second. I didn't video the whole process because that's boring watching me paint 4 chairs because I can't even hardly stand to paint chairs. They are the worst. But anyway, when I only have to do a few, it's not too bad. So anyway, I just cleaned these off. And as you can see there, I'm going to paint them black. You can already see the other one. They got a little dusty though from being in my garage because I was leaf blowing out the garage. So they look really dirty and disgusting, but they weren't that bad. So, okay, and then the black paint that I use on the bottom is actually chalkboard paint. Like I said, I'm just trying to use everything I have on hand, so we're just making it work. But you know how chalkboard paint is. Like you can see it over there on the right chair. It leaves like marks on it because it's chalkboard, like So I do seal this with a matte sealer at the end because I also didn't want these to be shiny because the leather is already shiny. So long story short, I painted them with chalkboard paint and then I sealed them with matte polyacrylic, which is also what I use to seal the top of the table here at the end. And this chalkboard paint was actually super frustrating to work with, I guess you could say. It was very thin and it just like you can see there, it just didn't go on well. So I wouldn't really recommend it. But like I said, I'm just using what I have on hand, so I'm making it work. Okay, and then the last step in this whole process is to seal the top of this table, and I seal the legs of this table as well. And I'm super annoyed at myself for not moving that squirt bottle. Like, oh, I'm so frustrated, but obviously I couldn't like refilm this because you only do it like once, you know. So, and what I used here was matte polyacrylic, as I mentioned earlier in the video. And then I also just used one of my favorite Dixie Belle brushes. It's just very smooth. I don't know what this one's called. Mini brush, maybe. Anyway, it's just a smooth, straight, bristled brush, and it just helps. It goes on very smoothly with this. The only other thing, you might want to use like a bigger one. It would be better because then you wouldn't have to do this as long, you know. That's my only advice here. Oh, and definitely make sure you're also pulling your brush straight on this step as well. Oh, and if all of the kids and the flies and the animals in the background are driving you crazy, don't worry, they're driving me crazy too. Okay, and I think you get the point, so I'm done torturing you guys with that process. So anyway, here is a final look at how the whole thing turned out. I think it turned out really well. It all came together really well, and I really love it, to be honest. And if our house had this color scheme, I would totally keep this table, but I don't have these colors. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. As usual, I greatly appreciate it. And if you did make it to the end of this video, please leave me a table and chair emoji in the comments just so I know you're here. And also just, again, thank you so much for watching. And here's a recap of the pictures and how much it changed. The table changed.